I was graciously attended to on the street, by some just strangers and passersby. But really, that ended up sending me down, quite a lengthy path of recovery. I ended up with a broken wrist as well as a skull fracture. Despite wearing a helmet, I did end up with a skull fracture in the back of my head, actually right where my cervical vertebrae and skull came together. It's, kind of disconcerting to hear that, and to not know, what kind of long-term repercussions there would or wouldn't be, really throughout, an extensive 8-week period of, being in a cervical collar. And I think that is what really put some of my Buddhist training really into a real lived awareness. For me, this was really clear. I was, a really fit person, so I was not able, during this time to exercise. I was pretty successful at my career. I wasn't working. I couldn't drive. I couldn't, really do a lot of even my own, sort of basic care or housekeeping. So all those things that I might usually use to prop up, my sense of myself, who I am, my success, my self-worth, those were really all taken away from me. And certainly I was blessed in having, that for me was a limited window. I don't have ongoing physical disabilities that, change the scope of my life in that way permanently. But just that awareness of how deeply I couldn't depend on those kinds of transient things anymore to define who I was. And in many ways it was also a wake-up call, a feeling that there weren't things in my life that I regretted or that I thought were necessarily poor choices or bad choices, but there were areas in my life where I was maybe not fully alive, not fully engaged, things that were kind of comfortable. It might be a bit of a stretch to say, a near-death experience, but certainly, a really radical shift in my idea of my own mortality, really gave me this incentive to look at, am I living my life passionately, not just sort of doing okay, am I living my life according to my own highest ideal?